Hello, and welcome to another training video for Enlite POS powered by Dark. In the previous video, we were looking at the pick and pay section. We covered all the fundamentals and all the main elements on the screen. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at how to apply payments and discounts from the module. If you have not seen the pick and pay fundamentals video, I highly recommend that you go back and watch that video first, as this video is going to build on concepts that we already discussed in that previous video. Without further ado, let's jump right into the pick and pay section. I'm going to get to it by going through the customer walk-in this time. Enter my PIN. Look for my customer and hit the pick pay button. Okay, so the first thing that happens is I get this notification that says my customer, Jack Napier, has $10 of store credit available to use. This is not something that you're going to see out of the box with your system. This is a setting. If you want these notifications for when a customer has stored credit, just request them to your support team and they'll configure this for you. Okay, as I mentioned initially, in the previous video we covered what all of these buttons do, what most of these buttons do, and what all of the information in this table means and how it relates to other areas of the system. So if you haven't seen that, please stop now, go back and watch that video. In this video, we're going to look at specifically applying pickups and payments in the system. So, to start, I'm going to hit my None button and clear all my actions. In the previous video, we had discussed how these checkboxes are the ones that apply the pickups and payments in the system. If I want to pick up an invoice, I select it. If I want to pay for the invoice, I select that checkbox as well. When I select the payment checkbox, the amount due, so here's my balance due, 426, automatically gets populated into the paid amount field. So to start, we're going to select both of our racked invoices for payment. So we're going to both pick them up and we're going to pay them. And then, as we had seen in the previous video, the system will not close an invoice until both actions have been taken, the pickup and the payment. And down here we can see an example of an invoice that's already been picked up. So we can see that the checkbox is checked, but it's been disabled. I can't undo this pickup. I can't mark the pickup twice. If I expand this invoice, we can see the date the pickup was applied. So we're going to pick up and pay for both of these racked invoices. And then just to show the other example, I'm going to pay for this invoice, but I'm not going to pick it up. So the system automatically calculates my total and puts it here. And if you're not going to receive the exact amount, for example, maybe you're getting cash and not a credit card, this field is editable. So I can change this to 20 if the customer gives me a 20, or any denomination or amount that the customer gives me, I can add into this field. Let's put this back the way it was. Let's say in this example that the customer is going to pay this with a credit card. Down here we have our payment methods. Your store won't have all of these payment methods. This is our test store, so there's a lot of different payment options that we've configured mostly for testing. The Enlite system integrates with a variety of payment processors, so if you would like more information on the payment processors, just contact the sales team. They'll be able to help you and get you the information you need so you can make an informed decision. In this example, we're going to be using credit card manual, which is one of the payment methods that's enabled in the system by default. So I'm going to select credit card manual, and because we're doing this transaction manually, the system will allow me to enter a transaction number or a voucher number, however you want to tie this payment to whatever credit card processing system you're using, because this one is not integrated with the system. So as we said, we're going to take this exact amount. I can come over here and hit print receipt. This will commit these actions to the system. These pickups and payments will be committed to the system, and it'll print the payment receipt for the customer. Alternatively, I can come down here to more options, and if I don't need a payment receipt, I can press no payment receipt and nothing will be printed. If the customer wants and their email address is on file, so we can see that this customer has an email address on file. If their email address is on file, we can do email receipt and it'll email them the payment receipt. So for now, I'm just going to hit print receipt. And we can see the pickups and the payments were saved. And the system has navigated me away from the pick and pay screen so that I can continue working. In this case, the system has sent me back to the same customer. The redirect from the payment screen can be modified. So if you would like to stay on that payment screen, we can configure the system to do that. If you would like to come back to the customer like we did in this case, we can configure the system to do that. If you would like for the system to navigate you back to the search screen so that you can search for the next customer, we can do that as well. It's up to you. Just note down which option you like best and let your support team know, and they'll configure that for you. So let's go back to the payment screen to see what happened. So here we are. We still have our $10 credit. We haven't done anything with that just yet. And the two invoices that were racked, the ones that had the green highlight, are gone because we picked those up and we paid for them. The invoice where we just made a payment is still here. It has the checkbox, but it's been disabled. I can't uncheck this. I can't charge the customer for this invoice again. If I expand it, I can see that the payment was applied today. And you can also see that the balance due on it is 0, so you know that it's been completely paid. So that's how we apply pickup and payment. But let's do something a little bit more complicated this time. I'm going to select this invoice for pickup and payment with a total due of $24.31. And you remember that we saw the pop-up that says that our customer Jack Napier has $10 in store credit. So this time we're going to apply that store credit. So to do so, here's our credit field. It shows that we have $10 in store credit available, and over here is the credit balance. So in this field, I apply how much credit I want to use. So right now, the customer owes us $24.31. If I put that they're going to use $5 of their $10 in credit, I put a 5 here. The credit balance is updated to show that they'd have $5 remaining of the $10. And the paid amount also recalculated to take into account the store credit. So now the customer only owes $10.31. In most cases, the customer applies all their store credit. So we're going to do that. We're going to use the full $10 that the customer has available. So now they only owe us $14.31. And this time, we're going to say the customer is paying in cash. What happens if my employee forgets to pick a payment method? Let's try that. So if I forget to pick a payment method and I just have my amount there and I just hit print receipt, the system is going to stop me and ask me to select a payment type. Okay, so we need a payment method before we can move forward, unless you're paying the full amount with stored credit and there is nothing due. In that case, you don't need to select a payment method. Same thing if you were just performing a pickup with no payments, you don't need to select a payment method for that. The system will just let that transaction go through and it'll store the pickups. Okay, so in this case, we're going to take cash this time. Down here, the system is going to guess what denominations I might receive from the customer. So it's $14.31, so it's going to guess $15. It might guess a $20 bill. These are just for speed. You don't have to use them. As I said before, you can edit this. So I can write 15 here if that's what I get. Or I can just hit 20, and that's what I get here. So now we've applied our $10 credit, and the customer is going to give me $20 in cash. So let's go ahead and commit this payment and this pickup. We're doing both. Remember, we're picking up and paying. So I'm going to go ahead, and this time we'll do no payment receipt. Before the payment goes through, the system is asking, what do we want to do with this change? So the customer has $5.69 in change. This is because they gave me the $20 bill. And we can do two actions with it. We can either take this amount, this change amount, and deposit it to their account. So this will go to their account as store credit, and then the $5.69 would show up here next time we come to the payment screen. 99% of the time, the customer just wants their change back. So if that's the case, we say no thanks. The payment and the pickups were processed. You can see here that the invoice was closed. It's gone from the list. We can also see that the credit balance is 0, so the credit was applied. Everything went through correctly. The change amount is going to stay up because the employee might move very quickly and say no thanks and not pay attention to how much the change was. So this screen stays here until the employee closes it so that they can give the customer the proper change back. So once I've given my customer their $5.69 in change back, I hit close and the system redirects me back out. So that's how we apply store credit. Let's go back in there one more time. Okay, so we've applied a payment, we've applied pickups, we've applied just a payment, we've applied just a pickup. You've seen how the system leaves those invoices open until the next action gets taken before they can get closed. So now what we're going to do is we're going to apply a discount. So we're going to go through the same process. We're going to do pickup and payment, and then we're going to use the discount button up here. I come here and I see all these discounts that are selected. I can apply them to the current invoice. I can apply them to all the invoices selected for payment. We're going to leave it at the current invoice. We're going to apply it to all the categories. Here are the other service categories. I can also remove a discount if I apply it incorrectly. So we're going to go ahead and say that I'm going to apply the Happy Friday discount for 5%. So I hit apply here, and then here's my 5% discount. The balances are automatically adjusted. And if I want to see the details behind that, I can come over here to this details button. This one applies to the invoices that are selected for payment. So if I come here to details, I can see that the items were originally $550. Here's our subtotal. Then I applied our discount. So here's our 5% discount. And then this is our subtotal, the taxes that were applied, and the new amount due. So this $634 that the customer owes is the same $634 that's showing here. Now to pay for this invoice, it's the same process that we had just did. So here's our $634 amount that the customer owes. And this time we're going to talk about integrated payment processors. So if you have an integrated payment processor, for example, you're using a Deja Vu terminal, those can be provided by different processors, but let's say that you've got a Deja Vu terminal that's integrated into the system. What you do is you would select that as your payment method, and when you hit print receipt, the system is going to send the balance due, so this amount is going to get sent to the terminal. The customer is going to swipe their card, and when the terminal approves it, it's going to send the response back to Enlite, and this payment will close. The reference number that's tied to the transaction will automatically be stored with that payment in Enlite. If the terminal declines the transaction for whatever reason, you will get an error in Enlite that will show you the reason the terminal declined the payment. Sometimes the terminals provide very informative error messages. Sometimes they're a little bit harder to figure out, but on the terminal it'll give you a clear error message. It just depends on the payment processor, but we do our best to give you a very clear error message in Enlite when that happens. Before making this payment, I want to show you one more option, and that's if a customer has a stored credit card on file in your store. So let me configure one and we'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. And thanks to the magic of video editing, I went back, I configured this customer's credit card. We're here with the same invoice selected for pick and payment. The discount that we had applied is still here. And we have a new button here with the last 4 digits of the customer's credit card. So if I want to pay with this store credit card, all I have to do is select this button. So here's the $634 balance on the invoice, the $634 the customer is going to pay, and now we have their stored credit card. Very important, Enlite does not store credit cards. At no point in time will the customer's credit card ever be saved in the system. All an employee or anyone else will ever see after the credit card has been entered are the last 4 digits of the card. All the credit card information that gets sent through the system is passed on directly to the payment processor. It never hits our servers. We never store it. It's very secure. And like I said, most importantly, no employee will ever see a full credit card number in our system. So having said that, let's hit this payment button. So I'm going to hit print receipt this time. And it's done. So the pickup was saved, the payment was saved. And let's go back to the payment screen. And that invoice is gone. So in this video, we covered how to select invoices to be picked up, how to select invoices for payment, how to apply payments in cash with credit card manual, also how stored credit cards look and applying payments with those. We discussed the options that we have regarding printing a receipt, emailing the receipt, or not printing a receipt, how to apply discounts, and how to look at the details of a payment amount. So that covers everything for this video. In the next videos, we're going to be looking at a few different customizations that we have available for this screen. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something new. From everyone here at Dark, thank you so much for your time and attention, and thank you for your business. I'll see you on the next video.